Today's episode of the Bleav in Steelers show is brought to you by betonline.ag. The NFL Combine is here. And while the NFL season is over, there's still a ton to gamble on. You've got the XFL, the NBA, the NHL. If you've got any sports wagers you want to place, betonline.ag is the place to do it.
365, 24/7, regardless on what sport you want to look at or talk about, make sure y'all go to betonline.ag.
Use our promo code Bleav, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts. All right, cue the music. It's time to start the show. Welcome to the Bleav in Steelers show on the Bleav Network. I'm your host, Mark Bergin, joined as always by my guy, Pittsburgh Steelers scout, two-time Super Bowl champion, and 12-year veteran of the team, number 24, Ike Taylor. IT, appreciate the color coordination. It is Monday morning. The NFL Combine gets rolling this week. How you doing this morning, my man?
I shall be there. I'm doing good. Had to
go in Indy.
Yeah, I'll be there from Wednesday till Monday, bro.
Excellent. That's called burying the lead. We were talking before the show, Ike. This is a pleasant surprise here on a Monday morning.
There you go. Ike is full of surprises.
Ike, we got a loaded show. We'll talk some combine, but we're going to start free agency getting underway here in a few weeks as well. Two players I want to start out, and we're going to start with linebacker Bobby Wagner, a player a season ago the Steelers were very interested in. Here's where I stand with this. Steelers are in a much different salary cap situation this offseason than they were the previous. Now, last offseason, they had more than $20 million to spend, some holes to shore up. And while the Steelers need to make upgrades right now, as it stands of today, the time of this recording, Steelers have about $11,000 in salary cap space, meaning they'd either have to restructure or outright cut some players currently under contract. I think this puts them out of the Bobby Wagner market, but if he's making $10 million a year, I just don't see a way where it's feasible for them to go after a player of Bobby Wagner's caliber. What say you, Ike Taylor?
Nah, they just got $11,000 to spend. I can help a little bit. At least I can help out for sure. No, but at the same time, Bobby Wagner, future Hall of Famer, just
yep.
The timing is not now for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, I love him as a player. I think he's going to be a future Hall of Famer. I love what he did in Seattle. Maybe if we would have caught him a little bit younger, probably 4 or 5 years ago, it would have been a perfect scenario. But you can just look at it from looking at it now. Wag ain't Wag no more. Like, Wag gonna always be a dog. Always gonna be just a natural team captain, alpha. But you know, this is just a young man's sport, and you can just see the step kind of getting. The step ain't what it used to be. The intensity is there. The IQ gonna forever be there. It's just, you know, Father Time is he undefeated, and it ain't lying. So. Pittsburgh Steelers, Bobby Wagner a couple of years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, yeah. 2023, no.
Yeah, I still think he's got some gas left in the tank. He'll be 33 next season, so on the back half, no doubt. He's been an all-pro 9 of the last 11 years, like including this past season, even though the Rams weren't what they were, wasn't the right fit with the Rams, who are going to undergo a massive rebuild, Ike.
Hey, Mark, I'm sure he got some gas in the tank, Mark, but you go from 93 to 87 to 83. We sitting on that 83 Wag right now. That's some low-end gas right now. So
I thought you were going Madden rating, Ike. You're going gas. I see what you're doing here.
Yeah, you said gas. So, you know, when you go with that 93, that Supreme, it's going to cost you. You get to that 87, you're like, you know what? I'm right in between 83 and 93. You hit that 83 gas, yabba dabba doo, Flintstones. I'm out of there. So I'm just talking about with the Bobby Wagner I'm used to seeing. Nah, right now my dog's sitting on that 83 gas.
Yeah, to fill the void the Steelers have at the linebacker position, because I can't imagine Devin Bush will be back. I think they go to the draft. But you see Bobby Wagner out on the market, and it's like, man, if money were no object, this is a player that I think pretty much any team in the league would love to have on its roster. And again, Wagner, He's still, listen, Ike, 5 years, $50 million with $20 million in guarantees with the Rams. So if he's going to make $10 million a year, it's like he's still going to be a premium, even at the age of 33, because again, I know he's on the back half right now, Ike. He was still a second team all-pro player this past season for the Rams.
Mark, that back half all the way in the back, bro. I'm talking about Mark, that back half. Like,
all right.
We ain't doing 36 holes no more if we golf. We doing, it went from 18 to 18. Now we just doing 8. And, now and we on the 8. Me and Wag on the 8. And then if you wait another 2 more years, we just going to be doing Top Golf.
Ike, we'll get you a cart. No problem. We'll get you a cart. So a cart and a candy, right?
Yeah, he passed the back half. And I'm just looking at it from what I saw this year. I was like, oh.
I've seen some people say that on social media, Ike. Now, I do need to point out, if the Steelers do want to save some salary cap space, okay, no doubt they could restructure some contracts to convert guaranteed money to signing bonuses. They do that every single offseason. But there are also several players that they could cut between now and June 1st to where they save money. And I'm going to list those players, Ike. And I've done this before. William Jackson's owed more than $12 million. Miles Jack, who I think you have to keep because you've got 2 inside linebackers. If you cut him, you'd save $8 million. Mitch Trubisky, who's going to be the backup to Kenny Pickett, it looks like $8 million. Do you want to allocate $8 million to Mitch Trubisky or someone else? These are questions the Steelers are going to have to answer. Kello Witherspoon, $4 million. Gunnar Olszewski, $2 million. Montravius Adams, $2.5 million. So if you cut those players outright, you can save some coin, and it's going to be interesting to see who gets their contracts restructured, Ike, because free agency is approaching, Ike. We're only weeks away from free agency, and it's like, okay, if I'm the Steelers, offensive line, cornerback are probably your 2 positions of need. So what are you going to do in terms of, okay, yeah, you've got the draft, but then what are you going to do in terms of free agency to help try to upgrade this roster?
I don't know, man. We got to holler at Omar. And I'm sure Omar Khan, Omar going to tell me mind your own business. That's exactly what he's going to tell me. So
yeah.
It's boy, that's above the pay grade, Ike. That's exactly what he's going to tell me. But
I hear you, Ike.
Got a few holes that need to be plugged. I'm just trying to do what I can do on the college side when it comes down to scouting. So I'll let O&M figure that out.
Ike, we're excited to talk with you after the combine as well to get your observations, boots on the ground. Another players the Steelers could consider, and if they're paying a premium for Bobby Wagner, positional value, Taylor Lewan is out there, but Ike, it's as simple as this to me. He's going to be 32 next season. And we always talk about in the NFL, the best ability is availability. Last 4 seasons, Taylor Lewan has missed 34 out of 66 possible regular season games. You got Dan Moore Jr., Chuks Okorafor, who are both younger and cheaper. They're probably not to the level of Taylor Lewan. I can tell you they're not to the level of Taylor Lewan. But in terms of value, you don't have that there. Lewan's made an average of $16 million per season with the member of the Titans. And oh, by the way, he also has a beef with the guy by the name of TJ Watt, who's like the face of the franchise other than Kenny Pickett. So I don't see this as a fit at all with Lewan to the Steelers. Again, another player I saw rumored out there where it's like, well, Pittsburgh needs a left tackle. And it's just like the dollars and cents they don't add up in this situation, Ike.
Yeah. Yeah, the shoe ain't going to fit on that one. Yeah, the shoe ain't going to fit. Even if the dollar made sense, the shoe ain't going to fit. That's something when you see these teams going deep into the playoffs and, when they hitting strides trying to get to the Super Bowl, the majority of their star players are available. So, 30-something games out of 60-something games, availability is the best ability. So I'll leave it like that. The shoe ain't fitting on this.
I hate to be glass half empty on a Monday, Ike, but I'm looking at this and it's just like, maybe the Steelers can get a little bit more creative with some of the other free agent players that are out there, Ike. But again, in the coming weeks, free agency always starts mid-March. So we're still at least a few weeks away, and then it's just complete chaos. And then like we just had the coaching carousel, we're going to have quarterback carousel with other teams in the league. And the Steelers are fortunate to where they've got their guy in Kenny Pickett, to where that's something that they don't need to worry about, especially considering Steelers had to figure that they would be in this salary cap situation. Now you've got Kenny Pickett under a rookie contract for the next 4 seasons, assuming they pick up his 5th-year option, Ike. And I'd much rather be in this situation now than what are we going to do with the quarterback position moving forward, because they have Kenny Pickett. And it's a problem a lot of teams are going to need to address this offseason. And it's just, once one decision gets made, Ike, it's like dominoes. And we get that here in like 2 or 3 weeks. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh in a good situation. When your head guy, when your franchise quarterback already taking strides he's going into his 2nd year, and you like what he's doing on the field. A few comeback games as a rookie. Didn't play like a rookie at the end of the season. Saw a lot of growth and maturity from on the field standpoint. And by the way, man, he's just a rookie. So let's try to build around him. And you see it with Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. And you see it with Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. You see Justin Herbert for the LA Chargers. You see Patrick Mahomes. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, he's just all the way different. You can plug and play with Patrick Mahomes. He's going to figure it out. But a lot of these young quarterbacks, Sunshine sitting over there at Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence. So when you see these young quarterbacks and they still under their rookie deal, what you see is the smart GMs, these smart coaches, they try to build ASAP around them. That's exactly what's going on. So I'm sure the Pittsburgh Steelers going to take a look into that, because I mean, there was a couple of games, it was a game away from actually getting into the playoffs, to be honest with you. So I like what I see. I'm sure the Pittsburgh organization love what they see in Kenny Pickett. But these Joe Burrows, these Kansas Cities, these Patrick Mahomes, these Jalen Hurts, these Trevor Lawrences, these Herberts, they all got weapons around them. And, we know for sure between Pickens and Johnson, 2 receivers, he got some weapons. He got a running back, got a tight end. Just probably need one more piece on that offense, maybe 2. And then we talking about offensive line. We ain't really talking about skill position. So, I mean, it's a good problem to have for Kenny Pickett and the Pittsburgh Steelers and their organization, because, like you say, Mark, he's still on his rookie deal.
I'm curious to see if the Steelers do go with an offensive lineman in the draft, what that means and shakes up the current configuration, Ike. Because, okay, if we wanted to entertain the Lewan situation, and maybe not Lewan, but another player, again, you've got Dan Moore Jr. and Chuks Okorafor under contract each for the next 2 seasons. Now, Okorafor's due about $10 million per season. So if you'd want to get rid of him, but then I don't think it's as easy as to say, well, let's just move Dan Moore Jr. to right tackle. Sometimes your muscle memory doesn't work that way. It's not to say that he can't do it, Ike, but are you more inclined to move Dan Moore Jr. maybe inside to a guard position to stay on the left side? That's kind of the questions I'm asking myself to say, okay, if you want to go protect Kenny Pickett's blind side for the next decade plus, say through the draft, how does that shake up your current configuration, your current roster? And that's kind of what I'm trying to spin my wheels on. And that's if they go with an offensive lineman, say in the 1st or 2nd round. They might go with cornerback, because we know Cam Sutton's a free agent. That's Cam Sutton and Larry Ogunjobi, Ike, right now are like the 2 biggest question marks for me ahead of free agency is, are you bringing those guys back? Because if you're not, that influences potentially what you do come April for the NFL draft.
Yeah, that's that's Omar. That's on the pro side. I'm on the college side when it comes down to that. But Mark, yeah, we shall see what the heck happens.
It's a jigsaw puzzle, like.
Yeah, it's a jigsaw puzzle. Me trying to explain it without getting in trouble. So that's what it is. We shall see from Omar what they do on the pro side. I stay on the college side. It's going to be very interesting to see what this free agency and this draft shake up to be.
All right, Ike, let's keep it on the college side then. NFL Combine is this week and starts Tuesday. It'll go through Monday, March the 6th. You're going to be there. Just for a rookie player, what advice would you give them coming into the league?
Coming into the league?
Yes, sir.
Learn how to say no. Learn how to say no. It's a lot of people that's going to be coming at you. And regardless of what round you go, they're going to think you just automatically got it. Let no be one of your favorite words. Because you can't. It's a lot of stuff you just can't get back and won't get back from people. So I'll tell anybody, just learn how to say no. Protect yourself, protect your money. Excuse me. But yeah, learn how to say no early ASAP. That should be one of your favorite words.
What's a situation where that would happen, Ike? If you could just elaborate, or an example where it's just like, I'm going to turn this down. No, thank you.
Yeah, all of a sudden everybody got business ideas. Well, hell, why you ain't write your own book and write your own chapter? You know? And all of a sudden I get to the league, you got a business idea, a business venture. Nah, you should have did that. You done had your time in the world. So don't stop trying to jump on my timeline. Go out and figure out what you need to do. You know, don't try to use me as a one-up. So, yeah, I have no problem saying no. And this is exactly how I tell people. Like, nah, you had your time. Don't look at me. You done had your time already. You should have been making them decisions when you was small. But yet you want to make these other decisions. So, no, I can't. I can't.
Some sage advice from a 12-year veteran there for any rookie player who comes across this. Ike, I think it's going to be really telling. You know how I feel about the Combine. I consider it like the underwear Olympics. But to me, it's really telling if a player really stands out and really showcases his ability, or if they come into the Combine in absolutely terrible shape and they don't test well. That, to me, is the most telling thing about the Combine. Everything in between, it's not exactly football. I mean, it's athletic measurements. It's not the same as when you put the pads on. But unless something really, really pops off at the Combine, or if someone comes in and they do not test well at all, those to me are like the two, my alarm bells start going off in my head in terms of a player's performance. Everything else, I think we're just starved for football and we miss it coming after the Super Bowl earlier this month.
Yeah, I mean, you know, America wants football year round, so that's why it's NFL, it's XFL, then it's USFL. So that's what we love. If you was born in America, man, you just love the game of football for the most part. And what they're doing is they really spoiling us because they're giving us football damn near year round. That's exactly what they're doing. So when it comes down to this Combine, it's the old saying, man, big man running. And little man hitting at the time, and they're short, so they can't hit. So I love to see big man run. I love to see a Corey Davis run at 4.7 at 340 pounds. I love to see that kind of movement. Now, for
Jordan Davis.
Jordan Davis, I'm sorry. When it comes down to the little guys, it's more lateral movement. That's what you want to see. Who's real good laterally? Who's good at COD? They call that change of direction. Who can move? Who can stop and start? So we're gonna have a few guys that run low 4.3s. You might have one that'll hit a 4.2. You might. We'll see what Jalen Hyatt talk about. He might hit a 4.29. You know, so we'll see on that standpoint. It's gonna be a few guys who run fast, but for me, I love seeing the big dancing polar bears get to moving down that 40. Like God, because all I'm thinking is a screen pass. Like, oh, if I can set this edge, and I got Big Davis coming on this screen pass, he gonna smack whoever. Like, that's how I be thinking when I be seeing these guys. Like, if I can make them just cut back, I feel sorry for that ball carrier. So, and just on the perimeter side with the DBs and the receivers. So sometimes you might catch you a fullback, or you might catch you, which is, it's becoming extinct now, these fullbacks, but you might catch you a linebacker at, 235, 240, running 4.4. Like, ooh, sideline to sideline, he can cover. He can stay on the field all three downs. So that's what it is for me. That's what I like to look at. I like to see the big man running fast, and the perimeter guys more who's quick laterally. And that's what I look for.
Ike, do you ever miss being the hunter on defense?
Nah, I'm all the way good. We were talking about, so I had Joey Porter here. Joey Porter was just here because he's coaching the XFL with Hines Ward. So we was all out smoking cigars. Make sure you go to howardgcigar.com, get y'all some cigars, my one of a kind. And man, we was just reminiscing, Mark, and we was just talking about how crazy we was on the field. You know, we talked about the brotherhood we had off the field and how crazy we was on the field. And we both agreed we don't miss it. We said we miss each other. We don't miss the actual game because we played it so violent, Mark. Like, I'm like, man, y'all boys brainwashed me, man. Y'all had me hitting guys 350 pounds and thought that was cute. It was like, yeah, we said, Peasy was like, man, once we saw you hit Bussy, Jerome in training camp, we knew we had one. I said, yeah, that messed up my whole life. I ain't feel the same since.
Well, anyone who doesn't know what Ike's talking about, either go back and watch a game, or if you just want to watch a few quick clips, watch like the Americas games that NFL Films did on the 2 Super Bowl teams you were on, Ike. And I watched those films. It's like watching a totally different sport compared to what the NFL is now in terms of the physicality.
Yeah.
And that was only like 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Yeah, 2010. Let's say they slowly but surely started to wipe out some of the stuff, but man, we hit the head, the body will follow.
Yeah. Ike, let me bring this back to the combine really quickly. So we found out this morning quarterbacks that will throw: CJ Stroud, Florida's Anthony Richardson, and then Will Levis out of Kentucky. They will all throw at the combine this week. Bryce Young's only going to go for interviews. I don't know if that means he'll weigh in. Like, his body weight is something that's going to be subject to discussion because everything else is there from a quarterback, meaning like if he were, say, 6'4" and 225, everything else you could want in a quarterback he has. But whatever he ends up weighing in at, not sure that'll happen this week or if it'll happen further down the line, say at Alabama's pro day. You've got a good quarterback class this season, which you did not have last season. You had Kenny Pickett. It was like Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, and everyone else a year ago. I'm excited to see some of the quarterbacks throw. I know it's throwing on air, but I also like to see the quarterbacks throw with guys that aren't their receivers, that aren't their college teammates, to see, okay, can they still do this on air? Because if they can't do it on air and make it look good, I can only imagine that it'll be even harder in pads. But like, I'm just excited. And it's just like, I remember we were freaking out a few years ago where it was like the Zach Wilson pro day where he's rolling out the opposite side and he shows off his cannon arm. Like, I just can't wait to see this at Indy here this upcoming week.
Anthony Richardson, AR, he about to take the whole show. He about to take the whole show, Mark. He about to take the whole show over. He about to take. Don't be surprised if he go top 10.
Oh, I'm not. He needs to go to the right fit, though, Ike. Get him good coaching, get him some pieces around him. For me, Anthony Richardson's success is going to be more so dictated on which franchise and organization goes to, and it not really his ability, because the ability there, the big playability, Ike, the ceiling that we talk about might be higher than any quarterback in this entire class.
He ain't got no ceiling. Everybody else got a ceiling.
Yeah.
Take the roof off the house. He has no ceiling, none. Now, what I do agree with you is he got to go to a coach. He has to go to a coach. He has to go to a coach that know exactly what to do with him, who's going to cater to him, not cater to, hey, you cater to my playbook. Nah, coach got to cater to him. That's all Andy Reid catered towards Patrick Mahomes. Who's the coach for the Philadelphia Eagles?
Sirianni
catered toward Jalen Hurts. They catered towards Joe Burrow. Like,
Josh Allen too, Ike. Do you remember a few years ago, Josh Allen had the lowest completion percentage in the NFL, And now he's one of the NFL's elite talents. It's the reason why Brian Daboll, as an offensive coordinator, goes to being the head coach of the Giants.
No, that's my whole point. Once Coach Brian left, we said towards the end of the seasons with Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills, it ain't looking the same. But you see what he just did to Josh Daniels. You see what he's doing with Daniels sitting over there with the Giants, but between a $38 and $40 million contract per year. It's coaching. Coaching is everything. So we saw Josh Allen towards the end of the season, like, dang, but you look at Coach Brian over there with the Giants, like, who their receivers is, and they in the playoffs? That's all coaching. That's all coaching. So that's what I was trying to say about next year, KC, because Eric Bieniemy left. It's value into coaches. Coach Brian left, you don't hear much. With a lot of talent for the Buffalo Bills. He go to the New York Giants, and in 1 year, get the boys into the playoffs. Got a quarterback who we thought would have been a bust. The man bought his side a $38 to $40 million contract.
There's going to be a drop-off in Kansas City, too.
Between him and Coach T, the best second half adjustment coaches.
Can I piggyback off this, Ike? And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this for you because you go from Eric Bieniemy to Matt Nagy in Kansas City. There's going to be a drop-off. Point blank period. There's going to be a drop-off in the 2023 season. I'm calling this right now in February. I'm just telling you the reality of the situation. The Chiefs' offense won't be as potent as they were this past season. I'm telling you right now.
Hey, don't get me wrong. Patrick Mahomes is magic. He's magic on that field. I would never knock. But the value in Coach Eric Bieniemy will be shown this year. The value in Coach Brian Daboll was shown last year with the Buffalo Bills on how they played in the second half of the season. The value of Coach Brian Daboll throughout the whole organization for the New York Giants was displayed the whole season. So I'm telling you, it's not a lot of coaches who bring that value. It's just not. It's not. Yes, we shall see this year, Mark.
Let's get Anthony Richardson a good OC. I'm with you there. Like, that's something that I want to see.
Teams talk. Chicago got a hotline right now. And it's not for these quarterbacks with people, and I'm just speculating. It's not for the quarterbacks that you think are who they are. It's not for the CJ Stroud. Not for it. I'm telling you, AR gonna go to this combine, and then we gonna talk after. And you like, hey, I'm trying to tell y'all, this dude ain't got no, bro, 6'4", 235, 240, who can
and he can run.
But he got an arm. Watch that man gonna throw 85 yards. Watch what I tell you. Watch. Mark, that man gonna throw 85 yards. He gonna throw 85 yards, dog. Watch.
I love it. Psychic Ike Taylor out on the pod again, because you called this with the Eric Bieniemy news, and it was just like, again, and it's not to say Matt Nagy can't be a good offensive coordinator. The Chiefs had a good offense with Alex Smith in his final season there, but he's not Eric Bieniemy. He's not this high-flying, potent, and that's the point that I'm trying to make here is just like Psychic Ike Taylor out on the show again. We're trying to tell you in advance what's going to happen before it happens. Right. Anthony Richardson, a player we'll likely be talking about here more and more each week. I'll call it right now. I think he'll really help his stock this upcoming week at the combine. I can't wait to see him throw because I think he's got all of the tools. It's, can you put it together? Can you be consistent? And then can you have good coaching around you? And then can you get the support of the surrounding players as a young rookie coming into the league? Because if he goes to a bad fit and bad situation, that's where I don't think he's at the same level of the other quarterbacks to where he doesn't have a ceiling, but then he might not have a floor either, Ike. So who the heck knows?
Telling you, he gonna go to this. They wait. These teams waiting on him. They just waiting to see. Like they don't call like, do I pull the trigger and get him? After this combine, trigger already pulled. This dude ain't no ceiling.
Ike, is this from the tape that you've watched of him? What is your basis of this? I've seen the big playabilities. I watch a lot of SEC football myself. What makes you say this with Richardson?
I know him. I know him personally.
Okay,
but I watch plenty. Yeah, when you see him, you like, hey, that's LeBron James right there. Like he got that kind of statue. Like he's well put, bro. I'm trying to tell you, he go. Man, I'm trying to tell you, he go.
Right.
That man go 5 yards more.
I can't wait. Ike, final topic of the show. I rewatched Jerry Maguire this past weekend. We've had the guy who that movie is based on here on the Bleav in Steelers show, the legendary agent Lee Steinberg, twice. Rookies coming into the league. I know it's a totally different landscape with NIL when you're high school level, college level now. But what I wanted to ask you, Ike, is what did you look for when you were hiring your agent, and how did you make that decision?
Man, it was me and Uncle Herman, my uncle. Like I really didn't. I ain't know too much on hiring somebody. To be honest with you, I really just had my uncle pretty much, take that. So we matter of fact, we made the right decision. But nowadays, it start early with these NIL deals, man. You can know somebody from high school. If you're an A player, if you're a star player like that in high school, man, you pretty much know who you're gonna have throughout college, high school, college, and the NFL. Because that's what this NIL is doing. But for me, man, it was just me over her. So it was a gut feeling. So we just trust our instincts and we just took off. Harold Lewis was his name. Out of St. Louis. Matter of fact, I still talk to Harold. Matter of fact, we're real cool. But yeah, Joel Siegel became my other agent, and Joel is like one of a kind for real. One of a kind. We got to get him on the show as well. But yeah, Harold Lewis. But it was Uncle Herb though. But these days, like my son, they coming out and all that stuff. It's gonna be, since I've been in the game, it's gonna be easy for my son. But yeah, man, it was Uncle Herb. It wasn't nothing too, and we just trust our instincts.
Trust is the word that I hear, Ike, but what qualities would you advise a player look for when they're looking for an agent as they're coming into the league? I think trust is going to be probably the biggest thing, but
man, get an agent who's going to talk to you like a doctor about your health, tell you the truth. And I ain't talking about get an agent who gonna BS you, tell you what you want to hear. I'm talking about look, I know the teams. This is what the teams are saying, what you can and can't do. Like, the truth hurts, but it's real good for you. So that's what I would tell these young guys. Get an agent who's gonna tell you, who's gonna be brutally honest with you.
I think some great wisdom there. And again, I rewatched my better half. She had never seen Jerry Maguire, and I'm like, oh, we got to watch this for sure. And Caroline, she had never seen Jerry Maguire, and I'm like, so I was like, oh, you had me at hello, and she had no idea what I was talking about.
And after that, you was like, oh yeah, we got to watch this movie.
Oh yeah, it was perfect. It was a Sunday well spent, Ike Taylor. You're the absolute best. Safe travels to you getting to Indianapolis for the combine, Ike. I cannot wait to talk to you about your observations throughout the combine. So you'll be boots on the ground and everything. Obviously, you'll be seeing players participate in drills and everything. Are you going to be part of the interview process? Could you just let us know kind of what some of your responsibilities will be there once you're actually there in Indianapolis?
Yeah, so right now I'm just right now this is my first time because it's my first year, so I have the itinerary when I get there. But yeah, I'm there. I'm doing everything. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna be doing, but I'm in there.
All right, IT, you're the absolute best. I want to thank you. I want to thank the Bleav Network, our video producers over at Brinks TV, led by John Brinkus, Courtney Vargas, Herbert Diaz, producer Megan and Yincy. I also want to thank today's sponsor, betonline.ag. I've been rocking with us for a long time. And I want to thank the listeners and the viewers of the Bleav in Steelers show. We're in the off season, but I've plotted out between now and April's draft, free agency starting in mid-March. There's going to be a ton to get through, so keep it here on the Bleav in Steelers show, and thank you for your time.
Yeah, I'm piggybacking off of everything Mark just said. Shout out to betonline.ag for rocking with us since day one. Brinks TV, Miss Courtney and her crew, Bleav in Steelers podcast, you, Mark, of course, everybody who's been tuning in, subscribing, and listening. Appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all give us a 5, please. That's a 5-star. But thank y'all for tuning in. Everybody behind the scenes who just been working with us, I appreciate y'all as well, Mark and I. So, yeah.
Ike, I'll put your social media handles in the show notes as well. So if you want to follow Ike's journey to the combine, you can check that out there. Thank you again for taking the time to watch. We'll see you next time. Until then, take care. And so long, everybody.
Peace.